Hey, comic collectors, it's Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and today I want to talk about why I'm a little concerned after we got the announcement of the Deadpool 3 director. This also ties into the fact that I just watched The Adam Project on Netflix, and so we're going to be doing kind of a review of that movie, but a little bit more on what it could mean for the future of Deadpool. So last night, my wife and I watched The Adam Project on Netflix. I'm recording this on Saturday. It premiered on Friday. Went live on the streaming platform on Friday. This video is probably going to go up a little bit, later in the week or whatever, but that's fine. Essentially, I thought the movie was okay. I thought there were some really fun moments in it. It seems like a lot of the reaction I've seen online, from looking at a couple places like Reddit or something, has been pretty favorable. People seem to enjoy it, with the exception of something I didn't really have a huge problem with, which is the terrible CGI on the actress's face that plays the younger version of the head of the company, right? Everyone seems to be talking about that. No one really seems to be talking about a lot of the other issues with the movie, which are that it has a problem, and this is something my wife pointed out too. It has a problem deciding if it wants to be a comedy or kind of a tug at the heartstrings kind of a movie, or if it wants to be an action movie. And you can blend all those things, but it really kind of had a tone problem for me in a lot of places. And that's part of the reason I'm concerned. So if you're not familiar, it was just revealed or announced Adam Levy, the director of this movie, and also Free Guy, which I haven't seen yet. I need to watch that. Is going to be the director for Deadpool 3. Okay, so I know a lot of people liked Free Guy, and I'm excited to watch that movie. But this isn't his first couple of movies he's done. He's actually been around all throughout the 2000s, and a lot of other movies he's done were enjoyable, but I would call them kind of a unsophisticated comedy that tries to take place in another genre. If you're kind of wondering what I mean, if you're familiar with the movies Date Night, if you're familiar with Cheaper by the Dozen, if you're familiar with what else did he do? He did Big Fat Liar, The Internship. They're all comedies that kind of play in other spaces for the most part. There is kind of a bit of a theme of family in them, which is kind of cool, actually. So I think that's fun. Don't know how that would really translate to Deadpool very much, unless you talk about like his kind of X-Force family or whatever. But still, it's one of those things where watching this movie, I just couldn't, like, the writing and stuff was fine for, like, say, the younger version of Ryan Reynolds, but it wasn't really snappy. It wasn't really delivered in a great way. Like, you don't think he was getting a great performance out of the child actor, although he did a great job. I mean, it's hard to be a child actor. You just don't have those years of experience that an older actor is going to bring to the table, right? And I'm no actor, but hey, I watched the movie, and I know a lot of people are probably going to praise that performance, but it came off as a little, it didn't feel natural. That's my opinion. But the bigger problem there is kind of the mixing of genres. And you're taking this kind of sci-fi action movie and you're trying to make it funny, and yet you're trying to have the whole thing encompassed in this sort of familial story. And I'm trying to do this as spoiler free as possible. If there's any spoilers in here, they're going to probably be pretty light. But yeah, I'm not going to get into like, hey, why is it a heartstring kind of movie or any of that kind of stuff? But it did have elements of that. And I think that's when it did the best. Those were the highlights of the movie to me. When it was just trying to be a funny movie, it was okay too. But when it was trying to be a funny sci-fi movie, not so much. When it was trying to be a funny movie that tugged at the heartstrings, not so much. So what is Deadpool? Deadpool is a comedic superhero movie. You're talking about mixing genres here. And if I don't believe this director can mix any genres really very successfully, and that sort of seems like what the track record has shown to me, that seems to be a problem. Now, look, I loved Deadpool 1 immensely. One of my favorite superhero movies of all time. Deadpool 2 was pretty good. I think that it didn't quite hit as hard for me, which is crazy because I was so excited to see Cable. I was happy about the casting. I was excited to see Juggernaut, which I didn't know about before the movie, but as they kind of kept dropping hints, I was like, oh, that's Juggernaut, obviously. I was excited about all those things. And then when I finally watched the movie, I still really enjoyed it, but it wasn't as good as Deadpool 1. It was maybe more laughs per minute, more funny, but it just sort of was missing something. So I was really hoping that a Deadpool, 3, the first Deadpool we're going to see in the MCU, almost surely, right? Like, of course they're going to do that. I was really hoping we'd see something really exciting, you know, something really special to kind of keep Deadpool going in this kind of positive direction. That still could happen. I'm not saying like, oh, Deadpool 3 is gonna suck. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, I'm really concerned after watching this movie. I'm planning on watching Free Guy soon, and I'm hoping that, you know, maybe that restores my faith in this team up. Netflix movies don't tend to be super, they don't set the bar very high in general. I hate to say that, but that's kind of true. They just sort of, you know, a lot of streaming service movies, a lot of people are comparing this to like to the Tomorrow War. I think that's an interesting comparison as well. I think this movie is more entertaining than the Tomorrow War, but I rolled my eyes less at Tomorrow War, believe it or not. There's plenty of problems with that movie too, but it just sort of like, I was like, okay, this is what this is. I get it. With this movie, I wanted more of some element of it. I wanted it to pick a side of what it wanted to be. And I also feel like the beginning of the movie was really good. I feel like the end of the movie was actually extremely good, but the whole middle section just sort of felt jumbled and it didn't really need to happen. You know, if you're going to do that thing where you have, and this is the concept of the movie, I don't think this is a spoiler. If you're going to have the older version of yourself meet the younger version of yourself, there's maybe more fun that could have been had there. And they kind of like damped that down every time they had a chance to. So that's sort of my thoughts on the movie Adam Project. But again, more importantly, I'm wondering how this will affect the future. Now, maybe the good news is Ryan Reynolds clearly likes working with his director. Maybe it's because he gives him freedom to do what he wants. I know that's been an issue with Ryan Reynolds in the past with Deadpool, or at least reportedly an issue. And so if that's the case, maybe that's the best thing that could happen to you. So that's the silver lining. The flip side is he seems to be comfortable with this director. But sometimes we need somebody to keep us in check. We need somebody to kind of contain our creative forces a little bit. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. I just hope that he gets the best out of Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool, or lets him do his thing. Whatever it takes to get that magical Deadpool action on screen, that would be fantastic. I'm still very much looking forward to Deadpool 3. I'm not trying to be a hater here. I'm just saying I'm a little concerned. What did you guys think about the Adam Project, and how do you feel about Deadpool 3 coming up and this director announcement? Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for future videos, and until next time, I want to remind you, as always, hey. Read comics every day.